About this water-fed window cleaner then. I've been meaning to make a video about this for a long time now, because out of all the things I've bought from Aldi, this one I think saves me the most money in direct terms. Because if it saves you the cost of having your windows cleaned, and it cost about 13 quid I think if you pay full price. So you've only got to do it for a couple of months and you're getting your money back. Anyway, this hasn't turned out exactly as I wanted it, and you'll see why. But I think I managed to get all the important information across. So let's see how it goes. Right, this is a review of the water-fed window cleaner from Aldi. And there it is. And you feed it from the bottom with water. But this is the second one I've had. That was the remains of the first one, and the reason I bought another one, well, I'll go into it as you watch the video, because it broke. The first one broke here, but they're such good value in my opinion that I bought another one to carry on doing my own windows. Because what happens is, I'll do that later. I'll tell you a little story first. I had a window cleaner, used to come round and do my windows, and he used to clean all the frames as well, and he used to get up there on his ladder and do the frames, and it was brilliant. And then one day he came and he'd bought a water fed system like that, and he was standing down here and he wasn't going up on the ladder, so therefore he wasn't doing the frames. But he said, "Oh, it's filtered water, it's great." And I said, "Yeah, but you're not doing the frames. Would you mind doing the frames when you..." And he said, "Yeah, okay." So he started going up the ladder. And then after a couple of weeks he put a note through my door saying, "I can't do your windows anymore." Which was actually rubbish. He just didn't want to get his ladders out to do my windows. So that prompted me to look at alternatives. So I bought one of these from Aldi when they were on special offer. I think I paid £5 for the first one. And what I found was that over the winter it got brittle, because this is plastic, this is ABS, and plastic goes brittle. And how it works is that this black collet here, excuse my hands, but that collet is actually pushed onto the inner tube to lock it when you screw this down, which is fair enough. But in the winter it got brittle and I tightened it up too much and it snapped. This thread broke, which is, like I said, it's fair enough, it's plastic, it gets brittle. So the trick is now to just tighten that up enough to nip it and stop it sliding, and not to give it a good old whee and tighten it up too much. So if you do that, it should last a long time. And there is a trick to using it which I will go into now, because you don't need to use water in my opinion. Need an old bolt for this. The first problem is that it won't fit. You can't get it in the water. So we'll put some more water in. There you go. Bit more water. Now, your windows don't get mucky, greasy, horrible, messy. They just get a bit dusty. So you don't need a lot of this. The more of this you put on, the more streaks you'll get. Just need a tiny amount. That will do, in my experience. And then a quick splash and off you go. Now you see, this is where it all went wrong. I've got the camera mounted on my chest and I just went to point it upwards to give you a better view, and I actually did a digital zoom in, which is why it's all close up. But here I've turned it over, look, to get a bit of bird muck off. Once I've wet it, I turn it over, scrape the bird muck off with the squeegee. I don't actually use the squeegee for getting the water off afterwards. I just do it either late evening in the summer or when there's no sun on the windows, and let them dry naturally. Because trying to use the squeegee, well, it's at the wrong angle and everything. But hey ho, I should have got all the kit out and made the video again, but to be honest, I don't make a penny out of these videos. I do it for the fun, and it's just not worth prattling around getting everything out again. But here you see how I finish off. I just use the hose and use plenty of water to hose off the soap and the water afterwards and the muck, and that's all it needs in my experience. So get one of these and give it a go. Now here is a demonstration of how not to take the pad off afterwards. There's an elasticated band just there to help holding it on, and the sleeve itself is velcro together. Well, it was until I just pulled it apart, and then you pull it off there with one hand, and of course you've got the camera, and then see, there is an outtake. But am I going to shoot it again? No, for reasons I explained earlier. Two hands, you see I've got the camera mounted on my chest, and then you can just chuck it over the top. Right, here's your hose connector, standard hose lock. Look, that's a genuine hose lock. It's the same sort of system. It connects to one of these. Has a brass one, look, I think that's from Aldi. It'll fit on there. But as I say, I don't use it because it makes it too heavy and it's too unwieldy, and generally, in my opinion, you don't need to. I get by without. But there is a little tap on here, look, that's on and that's off. That's to control the flow, but if you want to use it like that, give it a try. One of the advantages of keeping the old head was I can show you this. Just there, I don't know if you can see that very clearly, but that is the small hole for the water to come out. So when you put the water up through the tube, it just piddles out there, and it does piddle, it's not much. So that's why I use the hose separately and just use plenty and plenty of water. You'll be there all day with this, and like I said, once it's full of water it's quite heavy to use. So that's the way I choose to do it, without using that, and use the hose separately. And well, it works for me. So in conclusion, and from a bloke who's not an experienced window cleaner, but how difficult can it be, I think you would need a good hose pipe with plenty of pressure to get water to the top windows, unless you live in a bungalow of course, and then your quid's in. Don't use too much fairy liquid in the water, and don't do your windows in bright sunlight on a hot day. Do it in the evening or when it's cool. It's like washing your car. If you do that in the sunlight, you'll get streaks all over it. I use plenty and plenty of water and let them dry naturally. And to be honest, I've been getting away with it for a while, and it saves me money. And I hope it saves you money too. Cheers.